Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. I wanted to share a quick few thoughts on Parashat Behaalotcha, the beginning of Parashat Behaalotcha. So we read, the Torah tells us, Daber el Aaron v'amarta elav Behaalotcha haneros al mul pnei hamenorah ya'iru shiv'as haneros. So Aaron is given this mission of Behaalotcha es haneros to go ahead and kindle the menorah every single morning in the Beis HaMikdash. And there's a very, very famous Rashi, the first Rashi in the Parsha, where Rashi asks, Lama nismacha Parshas HaMenorah leParshas HaNesim. In last week's Parsha, Parshas Naso, we just finished reading all about the Chanukas HaMishkan and all of the karbanos that were brought by each of the Nesim from every single Shevet. What is the connection between Aaron being given the task, Shevet Levi being given the task of Behaalotcha Haneros, the menorah, and the Chanukas HaMishkan, and the daily karbanos that were brought by each of the Nesiim, each one of the Shvatim. So Rashi writes, Lefi keshe ra'a Aaron Chanukas HaNesim. When Aaron saw the Chanukas HaNesim, chol sha'az da'ato. He got depressed. Why? Keshe lo haya imahim b'Chanukah v'lo hu v'lo shvato. He wasn't involved in Chanukas HaMishkan, nor was his Shevet. He did not have a part in it, and therefore he got depressed. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says back to him, don't worry. Chayecha shelcha gedola mishalahem. Yours is even greater than theirs. Sha'ata madlik umei teves haneros. Because every single day, you're going to have the obligation of lighting the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash, cleaning out the shmutz from the day before, hatavas haneros, setting up the neros, and lighting the neros every single day. So shalcha gedola mishalahem. So I want to share a few thoughts on this Rashi and a few thoughts on the next Rashi. A few thoughts on this Rashi. First of all, what is so great about this mission, this task of Behaalotcha Haneros? What is Aaron actually doing? He's cleaning out the neros and he's lighting the neros. And why is that so much greater than what the Nesim did? They brought these unique and special karbanos every single day of the Chanukas HaMishkan. Why is it that Aaron's is greater than theirs? And I believe the answer, and something we speak a lot about in Yeshiva, is the matanos that were given by the Nesim. This was a one-time event. The Mishkan was being inaugurated, and to celebrate that very, very dramatic moment, so the Nesim had the opportunity to give gifts, to bring karbanos, to express a real sense of connection to Mishkan, but it was a one-time event. Hashem says to Aaron, don't get depressed. Yours is so much greater. Why? Because you're going to be there every single day. Yours is not going to be just a one-time event, but every single morning you're going to be in the Beis HaMikdash. Your avoda is a daily avoda, which is going to enable you to have a relationship with Mishkan and a relationship with me every single day. And that is so much more profound, so much more significant than what the Nesim had. And in fact, you could argue, what's the role of lighting the candles, cleaning out the menorah? That's kind of household domestic work. The drama of the Nesim seems so much greater, but the answer is no. Is sometimes we think that the day in, day out grind, the daily avoda is an ol, is a burden, is difficult, is challenging, and it is. But the rewards for that daily avoda, the rewards for the day in, day out, the connectivity of consistency is so much more profound, and that is what Hashem is telling Aaron HaKohen, is Shalcha is Gedola Mishalahem. Yes, perhaps the Nesim got a lot of fanfare at the Chanukas HaMishkan, just like we celebrated Memorial Day, beautiful holiday, July 4th around the corner, fireworks are incredible, a lot of fanfare. But you look up at the ceiling, and the simple, ordinary fluorescent light, that's what illuminates our every single day. The avoda, day in, day out, that's message number one, and that was what Aaron received. The daily experience of connectivity to Kedusha and to Hashem. Point number two, and this is again a small but subtle point. Aaron was depressed. I feel my Shevet, we're missing out. And sometimes it's very telling. What does a person get down about? What gets him depressed? People that are money-centered, so what gets them depressed is when their stocks go down. People that are sports-centered, when their Boston Celtics, when their Houston Rockets are defeated in Game 7, they get depressed, they get down because they have a sports-centered mentality. Some people are Gashmiya-centered, and that's what gets them depressed. Different things, our values are indicated by what gets us down. So notice what gets Aaron down. What gets Aaron down is, again, this Mishkan-centeredness. And when he feels he lacks it, the Nisim had something. The Chanukas HaMishkan, and Aaron is missing it. That's what causes him to have a Chalishas Hadas. I think there's a lot to learn in what gets us depressed and what gets us excited, what gets our blood flowing, what gets us energized, because that often highlights what is our core value system, and we should really learn what our core value system ought to be. That's point number 2. Point number 3 and 4 is the next Rashi. Rashi points out as difficult, is bothered by the words Behaalotcha es haneros. Why doesn't it say that you're going to have the mission of lahadlik es haneros? Why Behaalotcha es haneros? So Rashi gives 2 pshatim. One pshat, the second pshat in Rashi, is Mikan shema'aleh hoysel lifnei hamenorah she'aleha hakohen omed umeitiv. Is that the Kohen, in order to light the menorah, had to climb stairs. There was a staircase that he had to alight in order to light the menorah. And perhaps there is a very, very significant message there. Because if you want to reach spirituality, if you want to go ahead and light up the world, and the menorah, of course, represents Torah, if you want to achieve that, you have to be able to have aspirations. You have to have ambition. You have to be able to reach high. And therefore, you can't just stand still, stand on the ground in order to go ahead and illuminate the world. You have to take steps. You have to reach out. You have to achieve heights. And therefore, Rashi says, based on Chazal, it's Behaalotcha es haneros. You don't go ahead and just light in front of you. You have to reach up, reach far, reach high. And that is what Rashi points out. Last message, and that is Behaalotcha es haneros. The first pshat in Rashi is when you kindle the neros. Behaalotcha, it has to rise up. What does that mean? That Aaron had to light the menorah in a manner that shetehei shalheves ola me'eleha, is that when he ignited the flame had to be able to, he would have to keep the match up against the menorah, up against the candle, until it actually took off on its own, until it rose on its own. It was not sufficient just to leave it there for a second, but ad shetehei shalheves ola me'eleha. The message being that any parent, any mechanech, any kind of educator, his mission is to ignite his charge in such a way that now his charge on some level becomes independent of the educator, the parent. Is to go ahead and light that candle, light up that child in a manner that the child now can stand on his own 2 feet. Chazal tell us in Pirkei Avos that a Rebbe should be midu talmidim harbe, not have many talmidim, but stand up many talmidim. Because the role of the Rebbe, the role of the parent, is to, in a certain sense, make him or herself superfluous. If the child, the student, is constantly in need of the parent, if I have an 18-year-old daughter who still needs to call me up in order to cross her the street, then I have failed in my job miserably. I'm a total failure. The role of the parent, the role of the mechanech, is to ignite, to light up the child, shetehei hashalheves omed me'eleha, he'emidu talmidim harbe, to enable that child to stand on his own 2 feet, to make good decisions, to have a proper sense of self-esteem, of confidence in his ability to navigate an ever-complex world. And that's perhaps the message, an additional chinuch message of Behaalotcha es haneros. So 4 messages that emerge from the first 2 Rashis on the parsha. Message number 1 is the idea of the daily constancy of the avodas hamikdash, which is so much more profound than one-time events. Message number 2, what gets you down and what gets you excited? Because your core value system will be determined by what is getting you down, what gets you excited. Behaalotcha es haneros, when you want to achieve heights in spirituality, you have to be ambitious. You have to reach up You have to extend yourself and be extended. And finally, as we educate others, it should be in a manner that shalheves omed me'eleha, as parents, as educators, as mechanchim of ourselves, enable us to ignite so that our charges become independent, can stand on their own 2 feet. We should also be zocha to learn the lessons of Behaalotcha Saneros. Have a beautiful, beautiful Shabbos.